Hello, everyone. I am tuning in solo to do my week ahead readings. I just finished channeling and taking all my notes. I'm going to go over those now. If you are new to my channel or to my Insight Timer where I do my live classes, I have channeled a schedule last month and then also this month where I'm recording these week ahead messages outside of class. If you're new to my YouTube channel or my Insight Timer, I do week ahead readings using Oracle but today and tarot cards, as well as teach astrology lectures on transits or concepts, do workshops for psychic development, and provide mini natal chart readings. So you'll see a mix of those re-records and edits on my YouTube channel, and some also in the shop on my website. Today, I'm going to be going through the messages I received for the week of September 15th through 22nd, and I ended up using 3 different decks. I did that the last time that I did the solo week ahead as well. The first card you'll see is from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle Deck. The second card is from the Moonchild Tarot. And then the third card is from the Moon Deck. I'm not going to show the backs of the cards, but if you would like to take a moment and pause to channel in for yourself to see which reading your intuition is telling you will resonate more, feel free to hit pause, take a moment to do that. For reading number 1, the first message that came in was recount. Now, of course, this can be read as recount, and I did get messages that were kind of intermingling between those two definitions. But the overall energy was about looking back, taking inventory, and scanning for errors in need of correction, like typos or quick math that's off. This could be literal for you if you have any paperwork or documentation that is active or under review in any capacity. Otherwise, it's about you clocking reality and asking yourself, do things add up? Very interesting, but that was the language that came in. So I was nudged here to flip over the first card, again from the Moonology deck, and it's Full Moon in Gemini, Embrace the Flow of Life. And really, this card is about living in alignment. So we have attuned energy of connection. Gemini is very people-oriented here, wanting to converse. You can see these two people are, in fact, mirroring each other. Of course, Gemini also represents the twins. And the insight that came through was it's about being on the same page. So this week, we are aspiring towards this. Remember, full moon is an achievement. So we're trying to get to this point of being in flow, being in connection, being on the same page. And we do that by making our checks and revisions. And of course, I think this is kind of funny because what a great task for Gemini, which is quite the wordsmith. So we spend the first 4 days of the week in this headspace. And then there was this feeling of being in a void, like there's a gap. There was a sense of suspension, almost a disembodiment. So we're not mentally checked in with ourselves. We're disassociating in some way. And because of that, we're having to put things on hold a little bit. It's very, very air energy. And it came across as needing the fire for direction and earth for the grounding. That makes sense because we were just talking about Gemini, which is an air sign, but it makes even more sense when I look at my second card here, which is from the Moonchild Tarot Deck, 3 of Swords, and Swords represents the air element. And this card is about heartbreak, breakups, separation of unity. 3s are unity. that had existed. And coupled with this, it came through as by choice of words. So we're being circled back yet again to the language, exactly what was said or written really mattering and having, in this case, a consequence. Now, of course, I inquired, well, if we're going back and we're checking to see if we need to fix anything that's out of line, does that mean that it just didn't work? And the answer that I got was, yeah, for many people, that is true, that you look back and you try to make adjustments, but it didn't matter. We still end up here. And the importance is not fixating on trying to be perfect, trying to avoid this outcome, because it's really crucial that we experience whatever this energy is to then learn from it. And the final note on this first reading is to recollect. So we had to recount and recollect in the sense that we are gathering ourselves, sitting in the humility of this situation at the end of this experience, and then harnessing the takeaways for next week. For reading number 2, we had turning the page. Some of us are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves and trying to skip chapters and get to the good part in the book. But with any good story, the pace matters. So we spend really the bulk of the week regulating our speed, reorienting to our sense of time and urgency. So what is important, what's on rush, what shouldn't be. And it's also about trial and error and experimentation to really figure out what's that happy medium. And the subnote here, the footnote is, even if that means we don't actually get to experience the happy medium this week, at least we can pinpoint what that secret sauce is. And the card that we got for reading number 2 is from the Moon deck, and it is the Breathe card. The rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. This, of course, I had to laugh when I flipped it over. This is a 10 out of 10, perfect match for what I was just talking about. This is a reminder that we can set our own rhythm, our own pace, by remembering that our innate rhythm is our heartbeat. And we can slow down our heartbeat and our heart rate by returning to our breath, taking very intentional and slow inhales and even slower exhales. So this came through as a suggested practice that maybe each day you are just trying to take that intentional, really deep breath, or that the next level up is you spend 5 minutes a day in some sort of a breathwork practice, just setting a timer. Maybe it's a guided meditation or not. And then the top tier is devoting 20 minutes to breath work in silence. You can add visualization if you want, but in silence or to music, having a 20-minute meditation practice each day. So you can pick your tier, whatever works with your lifestyle, or if you want to bounce between some of them, depending on your schedule, you can do that too. There is a pretty obvious through line between both readings and across all 3 cards. We have frenetic and mental energy this week. It's air. It is air energy everywhere. So card number 1 for the first reading, Gemini, air sign. Card number 2, swords in the tarot, air. And then card number 3, the only card for the second reading, is someone breathing and there's air in it. So we had it across the board. So regardless of where you identify most, where you slot in, how your week is transpiring, this is an air energy week. I did want to point out, because I was thinking about these cards after I did my channeling, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that Mercury is changing signs this week. And I did confirm that that is true. So Mercury, which represents communication and the mind, which was present in both of these readings, is changing signs on Thursday, which for anyone keeping track, in the first reading, what came through was there was being that switch into the void on day 4, which is, if Monday is day 1, Thursday is day 4 of the week. That is when Mercury enters Gemini, which is the cardinal air sign. So we have a shift in what our mind is doing where it gets separated from the body. Virgo, which is where it is right now. Virgo is an earth sign associated with the body. So completely aligns with the astrology, which I didn't even realize until I sat and was reviewing my notes afterwards and was like, light bulb, how interesting. I went to ask, all right, well, how do these connect with each other? And I had a channeled message that just came right through, so I'm just going to rattle that off. There's no issue with working on both. And in fact, it could help some people to pair them because of the breath work in the second reading that acts as a steadying force for the disassociation in the first. It could also have a delayed start for the second reading. So you kick off with this energy, and then when you hit day 4, you layer this one on top. And being the trial and error suggested in that first reading. So we have a trial and error that we are working through, and the trial and error is trying out the breath work, trying to make those adjustments, trying to connect back to grounding and connecting to ourselves again, which we get knocked off our axis a bit from that first reading. Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more about September's astrology, because I know that just ended up popping up in today's reading, you can check the astrology playlist on my profile on the YouTube channel, or you can head to my blog, readbyreneetoday.com/messages. And I have a September 2025 astrology blog post on there, and I'm also linking the YouTube videos as I drop them for each transit. Plus, I'm doing another astrology transit class on Insight Timer on Wednesday, September 17th this week at 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time. During that class, I'll be recording the overviews and taking questions from students and going over chart examples for transits for the second half of the month. And then those will be edited and released on my YouTube channel, and then also linked within that blog post I mentioned before. Reminder that the next eclipse is fast approaching. It is going to be happening within this week ahead on the 21st. It is the solar eclipse in Virgo. I'm going to be doing a live meditation and journaling class that starts at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time, so it'll overlap with that astrological event going exact and harnessing that energy. For more eclipse resources, check out my YouTube, blog, podcast, because we have an episode on the 2025 eclipses, and the channeled card spread that I posted on my socials. So you can use that to read into the eclipse that already happened and the one that is upcoming and get some insights for this fall 2025 eclipse season. And don't forget that you can head to my website to book psychic and astrology readings. So if you enjoy my classes, if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out on YouTube, on my website, then consider heading over there and booking a reading with me. I have a variety of offerings, and if you're unsure where to start, feel free to send me a message or an email, and I'm happy to figure out what would be a best fit resource for you, whether that be a live reading, a write-in question, or one of my digital products in my shop. I hope to see you in class either this Wednesday or one of my 3 classes that I'm doing next week.